Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, the former President John Agyekum Kufour. His Excellency, your audience.
Thank you very much. First, I want to welcome all of you to my home. This has been my home since 1985. I know from my long experience in public life and of my knowledge of our country and of Africa at large, that the one thing everybody wants all over is development. We all want development. But then I have come to know that for us to get development, we must get good leadership. I'm talking as a politician, but leadership is not exclusive to politics. In all fields of endeavor, we must have leaders. We must have good leadership. Leadership that cares. It is when you have such leaders who care for people, I would say humanity, that you can get good governance. And good governance means inclusiveness. Let everybody with a stake have a say. Let everybody's ideas be taken into account, so that when we are getting solutions would yield to benefit all of us as much as possible. And it is when you get such an inclusive cooperation and collaboration that you achieve development. That everybody involved would feel, yes, I'm being taken account of. So we selected this name for the foundation, and we thought we should reach out. So the foundation decided that we should place our offices on campuses. Because Legon, for instance, has given us plots, 2-acre plots on campus, where, God willing, within the coming year, we'll build a mentoring center. So we impart our views and vision across the entire student body. Tech has given us as much as 8-acre land, also right on campus, where we build in American fashion. Because I'm a Kumasi man, I want to do a library and museum of my life, but more so the tenure I had as a president of our country and as a public servant of long standing. But additionally, this place would also serve as a mentoring center. For the past 4 years or so, we've taken to inviting from around the world people of achievement to come and address the youth and interact with our community in Ghana on how they made it, how they succeeded. These people we tend to only see on televisions or read about. But they were perhaps all started just like any of us. Like a short while ago, I heard about Azuma Nelson, how he got there to be world champion. The background, if you put a spotlight on it, would puzzle anybody how a young man from that background could rise to become world champion so many times over. And it's so with many of the people we read about and watch on television. So I think when we were launching the foundation, we got former president of Republic of Germany, Federal Republic of Germany, called Scholar. That man rose from very difficult backgrounds, but he was so naturally endowed intellectually and also with some good ambition. So he became a top-notch banker in Germany. From there, he became like advisor to the government, and from there, he got selected as the managing director of the IMF. And from IMF, he was serving as the managing director of IMF when the people of his country, Germany, drafted him, invited him to be the president of the Federal Republic of Germany. I met him 2001 when I had just taken over as president of our country. There was a conference in Bamako in Mali, and I had been invited. I went, and there I met him. He had come as IMF managing director with the then president of the World Bank called Wolfenson. They pulled me aside, these two men, very powerful multilateral CEOs. And me, I had come to power. I found Ghana's exchequer was empty, economy virtually flat on its face. So when they said they wanted to have a chat with me, I said, what would they want with me? We got talking, and then they wanted to know how I intended to manage the affairs of our country, especially the economy, to pull it out of the difficulties. Well, I got talking, a bit suspicious of them. But then a third person came onto the scene, a lady. And she, like many of the women these days, so forthright, said, oh, Ghana, we know about your challenges, your economy and difficulties. If you tell the truth about your economy, then if there's any help to give, we'll give you. But if you want to bluff and cover up, then you'd be left with your own problems. So I threw back a question at them. Look, suppose I told you the truth about my economy. What would you do for us? The lady said, if you tell the truth, then you can have my word. Instantly we'd rally behind you, and you'd see the impact you'd make. I was so impressed with the lady's directness that I said, well, when I go back to Ghana, we are studying the situation. You hear, but I wouldn't cover up on the big difficulties of my country. This German managing director of IMF, who stood quietly observing, then said, look, if you be open about your difficulties, you can count on me. Whatever help, assistance I can give you, I'll give you. That's what the man said. It was from that conference I came back to consult with my cabinet. At that time, the country was already in HIPIC, highly indebted poor country. But nobody wanted to admit to that. I challenged the economists within the government and outside the government to show me the way to get out, to pull the economy out of the HIPIC situation. Nobody wanted to advise on our taking the HIPIC initiative because they said it was too humbling, humiliating for us to admit to it. Because if you immediately admit to that, it's like you are telling the world your economy is insolvent. And so nobody wanted to do it. But I remember the meeting I had with those three people. So I told them, I remember once at cabinet, look, if you are not giving me any viable alternative to HIPIC, then I would say we take the HIPIC initiative. There was at once an uproar. What? No, everybody was saying, no, we couldn't do it. And I said, but you are not giving me the alternative to HIPIC. Then I found nobody was giving me the solution. So I decided, the then finance minister, I told my friend, report to Parliament and tell Parliament the president has decided Ghana was taking the highly indebted country initiative. Then there was silence. And truly the next day, the finance minister went to Parliament to announce it. It wasn't a popular move. But the German horse scholar, true to his word, immediately connected with me and said, look, accept the harsh conditions. Ghanaians prefer conditionalities and try to work within them. And I assure you, I'll do everything within my power to help you go through in the shortest possible time. And he kept to his word. We hadn't achieved the completion point when report came that the Germans had drafted him to become the president of his country. Really, I was crestfallen because I didn't know who was going to succeed him. So I said, this man is leaving me halfway with me. But as God would have it, his replacement didn't become a problem. But by that time, in record time, within 2 years, we had pulled Ghana out, and the debt overhang of over $8 billion within our period got written off. $8 billion debt got written off. So when I set up the foundation, I invited that gentleman. He came with President Mbeki of South Africa, who had also stepped down as president, to support me to launch the foundation. They both addressed the students, and the whole idea was to inspire our young people. That a scholar who didn't have a privileged background, but who just used his God-given talents and also his experiences, pulled himself out of very difficult conditions through his banking and economic background to become managing director of IMF and then later president of Germany. I wanted people to see. Then after him, we got Ngozi. I'm sure you've heard of a lady, Nigerian lady finance minister. Perhaps she was from privilege, but again, she used her immense talents to become managing director of the World Bank, and later finance minister. I believe now she must be back doing something with the World Bank. She too came to address to a full house at the conference center. And then we got another finance minister from South Africa, Trevor Manuel, yes, who had suffered imprisonment. He was ANC and stood side by side with Mandela and others to struggle against apartheid. And later, when they got defeated apartheid, he became finance minister. And now I believe he consults as an economic advisor to the government of South Africa. They have come. We've had other people come. But always I want to expose all these people to the youth of our country to try to infuse confidence. You may be good intellectually. You may be well-intentioned, but if you are not confident that you can make a difference, I tell you, you won't make an impact. So it's that confidence. But for the confidence to grow, you must know that if others have done it, you too, you can do it. And it's when we approach our problems this way. I've cited political situations, but I believe we can do it from other angles. Engineering, education, health, arts, any field. Please get to know what your talents are and exploit them to the full. Always knowing that you are out there to help make life better for your society, for community, for humanity. If we do it that way, by and by, like Azuma Nelson. So now he has many titles. Some call him professor, others call him doctor. He comes here occasionally, he's my friend. This is what I want to impart to people. The legacy should be to let our people know that unfortunately for us, we've been described as the last frontier to human development. When I say we, I'm talking of Africa. And truly, we are lagging behind. So how does Africa rise to take its rightful place in the world community? Nobody will come to do it for us. We will have to do it, and especially you, the youth. My generation is going off. There's another generation before you. But you may leapfrog, because with ICT, what my generation took, the period of time it took to get to where it got, you might use just a third or a quarter of that time to come up. So know the world around you and resolve that we are all helping to move Africa, including Ghana, forward to be at par with other peoples of the world. We shouldn't lag behind others and expect them to respect us. And then those of us who are privileged, if we would stand on our privilege to look down upon our own, then we shouldn't expect others not of our race to respect us. They will know that we do not respect ourselves, so why should they come and respect us? And for you to really move ahead to help your communities across our continent, I say always that we must be imbued as young people with a missionary zeal, a sense of mission. You know, I know we are multicultural and multi-religious, but let me use the Christian missionaries who came here first. When they were coming from, wherever they were coming from, in Europe, Switzerland, other places, many knew they were coming perhaps to die. But they came. Why? Because they believed the message they were coming to impart, the message of Christianity, was the message of redemption, of humanity. So they came, sacrificing the comforts of their homes. They came, and many of them died from mosquito bites and things. We will transform our nations and continent in no time at all. So this is the message: leadership, governance, and development. And I say governance is all-inclusive. You do not say, oh, that man is from this tribe or that religion. It's humanity, everybody in, to make the change for the better. And then, when you come to our foundation headquarters, there's a short saying, which is, you cannot hope to transform Africa without first transforming the lives of the African, human African, individual African. It's when the people, as individuals, get the benefits of our services, to be transformed, that at large we can say Africa is being transformed. So this is the message. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. And very, very short and poignant speech. Touched on three key areas that if we are looking to be of positive impact on our nation, then we first must know the country. And it's not about knowing places, but knowing people, especially those who are marginalized. And without awareness, we won't be able to make that impact. And good leadership is one that cares about the people and is not just within the sphere of politics. It could be in wherever you find yourself. And you also must look to include people. Good governance means that you're consulting, you're open, and you listen to everyone and know what their story is. And more importantly, he also said that if we can't respect ourselves, then we cannot expect others to come and show us any dignity. It's important also to leverage our own privileges so that we affect and impact the lives of those who themselves cannot be where we find ourselves. Quite often when we look up to our mentors, we only see how brave they are, but you didn't hide your frailty, and for that we're very grateful. And a big thank you to all of you also for attending, and I hope that this has been a great evening for you.